Yeah, like even tracking workouts and macronutrients and stuff like that. I'm very like meticulous at work and I track things, trends, metrics, stuff like
Multidimensional. It's
that.
not just
Yeah,
your 1 hour workout. That it's just
exactly.
becomes part of your life. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not just a cosmetic change, like it changes you as a person, it's like
yeah.
that's the whole character development.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 121 of the SupersetYourLife.com podcast. If this is your first time joining us, this is your weekly dose of entertainment, education, and inspiration to fuel your life inside and beyond the gym. We've got professional natural bodybuilders here with us today. Jairo Chang, along with Jessica Frank, along to answer all of your most frequently asked questions on the subject of natural bodybuilding. Jairo emailed me a few weeks ago about emceeing their upcoming The Open Natural, of which I was honored. So thanks again for that. Super amped to be MC of you guys' show. So, of course, the competition coach in me saw this as a huge opportunity to get on record the answers to a lot of questions that bodybuilders have that are trying to decide, like what federation, what category, and how long to prep that they should have, those kind of questions. So these two people were gracious enough to carve out an hour of their packed schedules to offer their experience on these very topics. Jairo Chang is a Colombian professional natural bodybuilder and judge, and his accomplishments include a Master's of Business Administration, and that is at the City University of Seattle, TV production, graduate certificate at Pontifical. We were trying to pronounce this one earlier today. Xavierian. I got that right?
You got it right, my friend.
Okay. University. And he is a bodybuilding judge for the INBA, the OCB, the NGA, and the AAU. He is a pro-qualified natural bodybuilder in IPE and PNBA. He is a certified personal trainer, certified powerlifting club coach, and certified nutrition coach. Jessica is a lifter, dancer, and natural bodybuilding enthusiast and promoter. And she's actually a competitor too. She's just super low-key about it. And so anyway, we're going to be talking a bit more about that. She will be promoting the Open Natural Bodybuilding Competition with Jairo in Kirkland, Washington on July 22nd, 2023. Fun fact, I don't know if you guys know this too, but that was actually my 7th competition that I did was held at that, so that was at that same facility. So
Nice.
No, it's very good.
Yeah,
Good to be back.
2019. I'm trying to guess, what was that, the Northwest Royal or
yes,
or was it? Because I think I probably saw you. I think I saw you on stage. I didn't compete on that one, but I think
yeah, that was held by John Nickerson.
that's correct.
Yeah, super cool guy. This event that they're going to be putting on is it's friendly. It's a preseason contest for natural bodybuilders of any affiliation or no affiliation at all. They make it a true open contest by not requiring a participant's membership. So they're going to be hosting this family-friendly event at the Kirkland Performance Center, which is an A-class location with a history of other bodybuilding shows, because I would know. The Open will feature categories for men's bodybuilding, women's figure, men's classic physique, bikini, and men's physique. They will be giving out awards by Cardilo weight belts. Did I pronounce that correctly? Cardilo.
Yes.
Okay. Sculpture trophies by Niels Anderson and special medallions made in Europe and other surprises from sponsors. You can follow Jess and Jairo on Instagram at Jeff's Lifts a Lot and the Open Natural. I'm going to put links to those in the description. Information for the upcoming show can be found at www.theopennatural.com, just like it sounds. Jairo and Jess, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cole, for having us here.
Absolutely. Been looking forward to this for about a week. I think it was, we started talking real fast and then got this on the schedule and just made it happen. So
yeah, thank you for making it happen.
Oh yeah, totally. So bodybuilding, let's start with this. Bodybuilding, it used to be a mainstream sport that was broadcast on channels like ESPN. And so why do you think that they stopped doing it? Like, what happened to the spectating aspect of the sport?
Yeah, that's a great question for starting our discussion. Bodybuilding in general was something, that I grew up watching. I think I'm the oldest person in the room now, but I'm a kid from the 1980s. So I grew up. I remember watching bodybuilding on ESPN and on the sport networks, but all of a sudden it kind of faded away. I would say in the 90s, it started like just disappearing. Um, Everything started kind of going down the hill after steroids became a controlled substance in 1980. So I don't know again if you remember, like in the 1990 Olympia, they drug tested the show for the first and only time, and a lot of contestants, they tested positive, and then the sport started gaining like a bad rap. Um, Ironically, after they banned these substances because they were not legal, getting substances like steroids, bodybuilders had to recur to the black market for getting their stuff. So that's when it really became dangerous. They started like bringing it from foreign countries, and then a lot of it was like counterfeit. And also, ironically, after they banned it, a lot of new substances came out. Bodybuilders started like experimenting. I don't know if you followed in the 90s, in the Dorian Yates era,
Yeah.
they got it like bigger than ever. That's when the mass monsters started. They started experimenting with insulin and growth hormone. It wasn't just the steroids, diuretics, and that's when we started hearing like all the horror stories of bodybuilders like passing young, and so all those things made bodybuilding like a less popular sport until it just it went away from TV and from mainstream media. So in short, I think steroids are probably like the main culprit, the main cause that made bodybuilding like go away. And we'll probably go in this direction with the discussion. So I think natural bodybuilding here is can possibly save it. Yeah, there's no way you can rush natural bodybuilding. I understand some people don't like bodybuilding. No, I don't like how you look or whatever. And they always try to put it down. The first thing that they will bring is oh, but you guys are doing drugs. But then like natural bodybuilding, it's healthy. It improves your life. It improves your health. What if they're not like?
Right. Are you of the belief that any and all performance enhancing drugs could be lumped into the same category as all being equally destructive, or is there ever a time and a place for when someone, like if they hit a certain age genetically, looking at options like testosterone, testosterone replacement therapy, stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm definitely not against TRT. Of course, steroids, a lot of the substances, they have like a legit medicinal use. And I personally know two friends who were prescribed I think it was testosterone cypionate because they had like low testosterone levels, so they were depressed. They had a hard time getting their butt off the couch just to go to work and just live a normal life. So in those cases, yeah, it's definitely there. When there's medical use, there is no problem with that. I think it becomes particularly dangerous when substances are used for winning, especially bodybuilding, because people who do TRT, again, I know because I have three friends actually who are on TRT. They do, if I remember well, 100 milligrams, between 50 and 100 milligrams per week. Whereas a professional bodybuilder, they would do over 2,000 milligrams a week. So look at the difference. So unfortunately, for enhanced bodybuilding, like once you cross a line, you have higher chances of winning if you do a lot, if you do like the 2,000. It's like if you're only doing 200 and then there's another person doing 2,000, of course, the other person is going to have higher odds of winning. And that's when I think it becomes dangerous. It becomes almost like
like who can do the most.
Yeah,
almost.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like in like when we're in college and people are silly and they're doing like a drinking competition. They say who can stay up and not fall down for the longest. It becomes like that kind of challenge, which is not quite constructive.
Right. I imagine it's got to be tough in your guys' shoes going, okay, we can promote natural bodybuilding, or we can promote enhanced bodybuilding, which is 10 times easier to promote enhanced bodybuilding because that's what people want to go see. It's long-term health is just, it's kind of a hard sell, right? Whereas
Here for a good time, not a long time.
right, and a spectator, you know, looking to be entertained is going to be perhaps more drawn to the people the people that look like freaks, you know, the people that are as big and lean as they possibly can be. It's like, is that an alien or is that a human being? Drug testing, that costs money. It decreases enrollment in events, and it leads to practically no money. So like, why run a natural show? This must be something that you're really passionate about.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, I got a coworker actually, our friend Colin, he asked me that same question. Like, why don't you, you know, a lot of, like, if you put urine tested on the poster, a lot less people are gonna sign up. You have to pay for drug testing.
Yeah.
And the guys are probably gonna be smaller. It's not gonna be as sensational. Like, why do you do it like that? And I think to me, it's more of a mission, just like helping people improve their lives. And I just wanna, I couldn't live with the thought that a person would hurt themselves because they're trying to promote a show that I'm putting together. Like a friend of mine here in Washington from Bellevue, he was being coached by a guy who was on the dark side. And then, hey, how's your coach doing? And his coach passed away. His coach died. And then there's another story of a girl who was competing also in figure, just for a local amateur show. So it already happens at the amateur level, and then it was on local news, like she she passed away. So to me, it's just too much. I think I want sports to be like an activity, that a discipline that's going to genuinely, improve your quality of life, your discipline. Now that I don't have any children yet, but I have nieces and nephews. Like, if they tell me I want to be a bodybuilder, I want to feel good about it. Like, if your kid tells you, hey, I want to be a bodybuilder, that it's cool to have that option, and I want to be one of the people that facilitate the option of having that sort of platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm having to ask myself the same thing too. As a dad, I'm just like, okay, how important is winning, and how important is making sure that I can be the best dad, be the best business owner, be the best coach that I can be right now. I mean, my wife's on a contest prep, and so I'm just like, is the goal to win, or is the goal the big picture here?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, yeah, we have to look at the I forgot what I was gonna say.
No problem. That's really convenient, because I have a question that I was hoping to ask you too. What kind of drug testing do you guys do? Is it polygraph, or is it urine? Because I've done shows that have done one or the other, and some that have done both. Just curious as to what your strategy is on that.
Yeah, so there are two ways of testing, that drug testing for bodybuilding. The two most popular are polygraph, which is a lie detector. You know, competitors usually, they go in a hotel room, they connect you to a machine, and then they ask you questions about what supplements you're taking, and then they see your pattern.
They'd ask you trick questions too. Like,
yeah, they ask you trick questions.
Yeah, like, have you ever lied about your homework? I mean, like, weird stuff like that, just to see what you do, like, if you actually do lie.
And then
it's very nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
you're already nervous.
Oh, everybody's super nervous right before the polygraph.
Super nervous. I'll tell you a quick story of, like, the very first time I was doing a polygraph. That was over 10 years ago. I was still, like, fresh off the boat. I was still working on my English skills, so I was, like, extra nervous. And they had me, like, the simplest questions, like, is your name Jairo? And I'm totally overthinking. Like, my name, well, it's spelled Jairo, but it's pronounced Jairo. Is Jairo really my name? Yes, no, oh God. And that thing starts going like crazy like that. And then
all your brain synapses are just
are you in Seattle, Washington? And then I don't know, I mean, Bellevue, which is a suburb of Seattle. So am I really in Seattle? Yeah, no. Oh God. Anyway, long story short, I failed the darn test. Like, dude, what the hell? And then they had to urine test me after that. They urine test me on my
They did
first show.
both?
Yeah, they had to.
Oh, wow.
I did horrible on the polygraph. Anyway,
So we're not doing polygraphs.
we're not doing
Okay.
Maybe I just realized maybe I'm biased from my own experience. But on a serious note, I think the polygraph is questionable. I think the polygraph is, it's an instrument, but I think the polygraph is only as good as a polygraph administrator. So if you have a guy who's, like a former FBI person, if you have like a really good person administering the test, yeah, sure, it's great. But it's not always the case. And I understand because it'll be really expensive. They have to do it in bodybuilding for like 5-10 minutes. It's like a short version. So we opted for doing urine test instead. Like in this case, again, it's just an opinion. We think it's more reliable. And I think we also like it because when we do urine test, just like in powerlifting, we only test winners. So we only test the top 3. And by doing it like that, we don't have to charge every athlete separately for testing. Like we as promoters, we can cover all the expenses of the poly. So, if a person if a person places, I don't know, 6, 7, that is fine. There's no need to ask for their money for testing. So yeah, that's the reason why we chose urine test.
Good stuff. Yeah, the urine test, those always backfired on me because I cut water like basically early in the day on show day and basically completely dehydrated the entire day. It's like I don't coach anybody to do it that way. I would never recommend anybody do it that way, but for me and my physique, that's the only way that I can get my lower abs to really, really pop is if I is if I am that dehydrated. And so when I would get tested, it was always after like your last class. So they were always kind enough to wait until you did your last class. But then I would literally just be pounding water and just couldn't pee for like the next hour. My body was just like, oh heck no, we're holding on to all this. Yeah, it's not fun. I definitely don't recommend doing your peak week that way. But everybody's body's different, right? And
yeah, it works for you. I've seen your pictures on stage, and yeah, whatever you're doing works too.
Yeah, we come to here circling back again to longevity and what's healthy versus like, okay, let's not put health aside, but definitely if we want to win, there's some things are going to have to take a back seat, and that might be my metabolism for a few weeks or whatever. So, all right, who is judging this show?
I guess we're gonna give you a partial answer on that one.
Okay.
So we're gonna have, like, I can't tell you names, for obvious reasons, but because this is an open contest, because it's not a sanctioned by a particular organization, we intentionally pick judges with different backgrounds. So what I can tell you for now is our head judge is from the WNBF, and then the rest of the judging panel, they are experienced with OCB, AAU, NGA, and we have an NPC person. So
cool.
Can you
give me a clue on the WNBF?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
it's gonna cost you money. But then
that sounds very fair because NPC and WNBF have two totally different aspects on judging. Is because I went to my first NPC show, and Jessica, I really want to hear about how your first NPC show went too, because in WNBF it seemed to always be a shred fest. It was like the leanest athletes that are the absolute most peeled to the bone, like they're going to win. So I'm like, all right, my 9th show, I'm doing this one on a fully ketogenic diet, and I'm going to be the most peeled to the bone athlete there. I don't care how much muscle I lose. So I lost 50 pounds this last prep, and definitely came in the leanest I've ever been in my entire life. Was the leanest person at that show, but did not place as well as I wanted to. It also wasn't drug tested, but that's neither here nor there. But my muscularity, I just realized how important they viewed muscularity and such a drastic contrast to WNBF. And it's like, we can sit here all day and talk about which we agree with and which we don't, but it's like figure skating in a lot of ways. It's just an art, and it's almost like there's no right or wrong way to judge. Everybody has a different perspective on depending on what they happen to be looking for. But that sounds pretty cool about how you guys picked judges from different federations, because then it's like you have a lot more perspectives and different angles on it. That'd be really cool as a competitor afterwards at the after party too, just to be able to pick some of these judges' brains, because that was my thing after every single show, is going around with the voice recorder, asking politely if I could record it and say, okay, what are all the critiques that you have for me? I was this number. What are you critiques for me? For me, I have this number. I'd be up there all night talking to every single judge. And then same thing at the NPC shows. But if you got that many different angles on it, I guess your competitors could get a lot more value that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're gonna be, it's not only differences on the criteria, but sometimes there's like slight difference on the posing too. So we all judges are going to get together, and then we'll go. I guess as a general thing, we have to be fairly flexible. Like, for example, you said your WNBF, right? Every organization, sometimes they have like slight differences. Like if you're doing like a side chest pose,
when I say WNBF, I mean INBF too, because I never became a WNBF pro, but INBF, WNBF, same thing. Yeah, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on that regard, we're gonna give some flexibility to competitors to have, all the basics of the poses. A lat spread is a lat spread, a double biceps is a double biceps, but we're not gonna be so picky about the variations. It's just like the main, like a unified version.
Oh, that sounds fun. So you have like a little bit of liberty, like if on the side chest pose, if you wanted to do like a Dorian Yates style and throw your back leg back a little bit or something. And
yeah, exactly. So it's kind of an art. I don't know.
Package.
I don't know if it's. I'm guessing there's probably some things similar with dancing. Like different steps that you can do, and this is, I call this, but people do that maybe a little bit different.
Yeah, it's like all about the illusion that you're creating too, and what's going to accentuate the hard work that you put in too.
Yeah, and that's part of the art. Yeah, if you want to have your legs, for some people a little bit more separated, people a little bit more closer together, I think that's up to the artist or the performer to decide how they want to shoot the pose. I mean, it's still a double bicep pose.
Mm-hmm. Is it okay if you twist your waist on a front double bicep pose?
Probably in your solo routine. Yeah.
not on stage, guy. That's the first thing I would ask, because I'm blocky. So every single pose.
Yeah. It still has to be up front. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, still has to be up front double biceps. You could do it in your routine. You don't have any variation that you like. Yeah, but for the front, it probably has to be up front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's not. I don't see it twisted in any organization of the ones that we mentioned. So.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay. When people say natural bodybuilding versus bodybuilding, why is that even a subject? Why is that a thing? Why is that something that even needs to be a topic, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it kind of sucks that we have to break, it's apparently the same sport, right? Like, the bodybuilding, then some guys do it using these tools, and then these guys do it using these other tools. But it's not that simple. If you think about it, it's the only sport where you have not, think of soccer. You don't have, this is the natural soccer, and this is the non-natural soccer, or the tested and non-tested. Like in other sports, you never hear the difference, even though there are drugs in other sports, like football, like NFL, a lot of the guys do stuff, but you never have to divide like that. And I think the reason why is because in other sports, like dancing included, gymnastics, football, part of the sport is skill and part of the sport is like strength. Like steroids would help you. They would make you a better football player, but they don't do the work for you. Like, I'm not good at football. You could give me all the steroids in the world, and that's not going to make me a better football player. It's helpful, but it's not what it's about. But for bodybuilding,
it's just really drastic, the changes, because it all comes down to
muscle. Like if you give me a lot of steroids, is that going to make me a better bodybuilder? Absolutely, 100%. And same thing happens in powerlifting. Like a drug that's gonna give me, like the drug gives me directly what I'm being judged on, like more muscle and more strength. So the more I do, the more I get, and that's how it gets dangerous. So that's why I think it's the only sport where you have to divide like the natural and the non-natural as like two separate disciplines and two different federations, two different leagues, and it's even like two different families. I don't know. Because I feel like as a natural, our contests, they tend to be smaller. Sometimes they would tell me, oh, my friend, someone who competes in this other on the non-tested federation. And it's almost like two separate universes, huh?
Mm. Yeah. Let's see.
So I think it's funny that they say untested or natural.
Mm-hmm.
And like the untested is just bodybuilding, right? Sounds
Yeah.
better than drug bodybuilding. So we got to call the natural one natural.
Yeah, I call the natural, but then the other, there's a lot of, I think the word is euphemisms, like a lot of like softer words for saying something you don't want to say. So yeah, you would say, I guess non-tested. I guess to be fair, a lot of naturals do non-tested shows. So it's not like everyone who does the non-tested. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's a chance, but again, when you want to describe one thing or the other, I hear there's a guy in Spain that I follow. He just calls it pharmaceutical bodybuilding, kind of aggressive, but yeah. Anyway, but if you're talking specifically about drugs, I think it makes sense.
Or enhanced.
Or enhanced, yeah, it's a softer word too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Question from a gentleman that is very likely going to be doing your show. Very, very good friend of mine. He goes, that happens to be my birthday too, so that would be super fun. So he would definitely have a heck of an after party. Anyway, he goes, basically the question that I would consider is, what do I need to consider when it comes to choosing a division? So he's trying to figure out between like men's physique, classic physique, and open bodybuilding. And so what would you suggest? What kind of questions should a gentleman like this ask himself?
Yeah, I think there's two things to consider. The first one, much like any sport, some people are gonna have like a natural talent or something. Like for basketball, of course, if you're a tall person, you're already into something. You're like you got some sort of advantage. So for bodybuilding, depending on the body frame of the person, some people are gonna have it better. Are gonna have like a better structure for bodybuilding or for men's physique, for classic physique. However, with that being said, I don't think that's the main factor, because you can, the whole thing is that you get your body, you transform it, you work for it, and then you have like the before and after picture. So even though some people are going to have more potential for one thing or the other, I think at the end of the day, what really matters is what you're most passionate about. Like you think of yourself, okay, I'm winning this trophy in men's physique. Now think of yourself, I'm winning a trophy for classic physique. I'm winning a trophy for men's bodybuilding. Which one makes me happier? And that's what's going to make you like stick and have more adherence and just continue doing it in the long run. Because natural bodybuilding is a sport of decades. You see a lot of the guys, they won't peak until they're in their late 30s, sometimes somewhere in their 40s, because it takes so long. So if you can look at like world champions for the natural circuit, they're always guys who are sometimes even in the masters. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just pick whatever. Just go where your heart is would be my tip.
I love your answer to that, because yeah, my advice and the question that I always ask myself for every show is always, why am I doing this show? And taking a big step back and going, is the goal to have exposure? Is the goal to win? Those things kind of go hand in hand, right? Or is the goal to make something as artistic as I can? So I was always kind of the goofball that would do all categories personally. I kind of think of it like a track meet. Like if you're going to go run the mile, like throw the discus because you're there, like even if you're not going to necessarily place the best. And so, yeah, no, so I pretty much typically do all three, except for when I started doing NPC, I was like, oh, heck with bodybuilding. There's no way, not in a million years. Like it's not worth it to me. I'm never going to get to that degree of muscularity ever, nor would I want to be. I hate how I feel when I get over 200 pounds personally, but from an artistic point of view, you know, going, okay, what do I want to look like, and what makes me feel good about how I look and how I present myself, and then honestly looking into the mirror and going, okay, where do I need to be a better athlete though, and what's my best chance of winning if that's what my goal is. And I think that's kind of something that only the competitor can really decide for themselves, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. This is a question that I've been dying to ask you. Do natural bodybuilders typically require a longer contest prep than enhanced athletes in your experience? My preps have always been 24 weeks. And I mean, I would just rather get shredded way earlier and like reverse diet going into a show than being super nervous the last few weeks and trying to do extra cardio, cut more calories, and get an eating disorder, and it just goes downhill after that, right? So anyway, contest prep length. I'm curious as what your thoughts or experiences on that, what you've seen.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen one of my favorite, I guess I'm gonna say it, my favorite bodybuilder, Moji Oluwa. He's a guy he doesn't let himself. He's been doing it for so many years. Also, he already has a fair amount of muscle, but he would never let himself go over 6 weeks of contest prep. Like you could give him like 6 weeks month, 6 week notice, and he'll be ready for a show. But it's not like he would lean out fast. He just stays like close, just stays close to contest shape. So it could be, you know, something that, if that's your mentality, if you stay fairly lean, you can do it that fast. For guys like you and I who don't stay that lean all year round, yeah, it's gonna be somewhere between 12 to 24 weeks because we don't have what is it that they use? What's this fat burner? You're natural, but you've heard it.
Oh, it's a fat burner that's like illegal. or a legal one.
Yeah, illegal.
Talking about
you use it and they get shredded super fast because it increases your heart rate and then you burn fat.
T3, T4, one of those.
Yeah, that's the new generation that they're doing, the diabetes one, but the
yeah, you can
clenbuterol.
You can if you're listening, don't do either of those things unless you're
doctor. Yeah. I'm not more.
You can kill yourself by doing that. That is not one that you want to take in the first place, let alone overdose on. You know, there's ways to get peeled to the bone, and there's reasons why. There's reasons why at these natural shows the athletes are always just shredded, is that you're not retaining all that extra water from all this extra stuff that you're putting in your body.
Yeah, and that's I think unfortunately that's really cool that you mentioned that of the water retention, because I find it interesting sometimes when natural bodybuilders, they try to do things that enhanced guys do, like they worry too much about water retention towards the end, but where water retention is a side effect from drugs like nandrolone. Like we naturals, we don't have to worry too much about what you call it, like the edema, because it's just a side effect. Just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Right on. Cool. My wife Taylor is doing her first show this year. She's going to be doing the NPC Northwest Natural in November on a ketogenic diet. She will be competing in the new category of wellness. So what is all this hype about this new category wellness? Is it like similar to bikini? What is it?
You want to talk about it?
No, you can talk about it. I'll hop in.
Yeah, so wellness, I believe it's pretty recent, compared to other.
I feel like a few years ago, right?
Yeah, I think it's 2020. The version that I heard is that one of the promoters of the NPC, they were in South America, and they saw like some contests over there. They were super successful. They had a lot of following. So they brought that to the United States a couple of years ago, and now it's growing, and now it's becoming part of natural bodybuilding as well. So it's a variation of the, well, every organization probably has their different version, but for NPC, you're welcome to correct me. It's a variation of bikini that would allow like a little bit of a softer look, and they can have like bigger legs, bigger. It's more like the, yeah, like the body of it's like suited for the body of the South American woman, right? Like the Brazilian, Colombian kind of woman, like that physique they're trying to promote. You agree?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, it's one of the efforts for bringing like the option of having like a healthy physique or
More sustainable year-round.
sustainable, giving people an opportunity of, you know, winning a show, being an athlete without compromising their health.
Right.
So from that point of view, I like it, and I also like the idea that you're gonna have like more people doing bodybuilding, more people training, less people being intimidated of doing one of these shows. So yeah, like the more athletes you get, the more active people you get, the better. With that being said, I think wellness is unnecessary for natural bodybuilding, because wellness came to a non-tested side to solve a problem, to discourage drug use. By natural bodybuilding, we don't have to worry about that. You know, nobody's dying in their 40s, nobody's hurting their health. So I think for natural bodybuilding, only having if you have bodybuilding figure, women's bikini, that's all you need. So
so no wellness category at this one, huh?
no, not for our show. There's a couple of natural federations who are doing it, but yeah, but our position is that
That's kind of your take on it.
Is that bikini, yeah, that bikini would be enough.
Yeah.
Again, so I think it's fine for the non-tested shows, and I think Jess is probably going to share something later, like the reason why some natural bodybuilders choose to do non-tested shows. Some of them are pretty cool. They have great production values and the lighting and then the stage design. That's the reason maybe why I would do one. But yeah, so in short, I think it works for the bigger non-tested shows where you have like a lot of contestants, but
I don't competitors entering.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like the idea of the wellness category, actually. Like a lot of my friends, since they announced it in 2020, that had the idea of competing, actually dipped their toes in the water after, you know, hearing that wellness was a category. Because I myself competed in bikini. It's the Emerald Cup, and that did a number on my body, and I did it natural, but my prep was really, really long, and I feel like I'm shorter. So I was in class A, and my body frame is, I have really big legs. I feel like a lot of females have big legs, or so it just, I feel like it's good for those women that have that natural body shape, that don't want to sacrifice their health, like you said.
How tall are you?
I am 5'1" almost.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Very short. Yeah.
Because my wife is her legs are, I mean, she's got a quad sweep that I could only dream of having myself personally. And
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so you probably got those short muscle bellies that
yeah.
like those.
It's like those memes or TikTok videos of women who can like deadlift and leg press like 300 pounds, but then their bench is like 80 pounds. That's how I feel for myself, at least. But yeah, no, I think it's great for like a first time competitor, you know, wanting to try out and see what they like, you know.
So is that why you did the
Emerald Cup?
The Emerald Cup?
Yeah, well, actually,
why did you do the Emerald Cup if you're because that was not a drug tested show?
Well, it was 2014, and I didn't know anything about drug testing versus non-drugs or natural shows. And I had no idea that it was the biggest show in the Pacific Northwest. And I didn't know that they were going to do height categories. I knew nothing going into it.
Okay.
But the reason that I wanted to do that show specifically is because I actually worked at the hotel across the street where we would host all of the bodybuilders. And for multiple years in a row, I would see them come in. I'm like, dude, they're so shredded. Like, I want to look like that. I want
Which
to try
hotel? Which
that.
hotel was that? Because it's at it's in Bellevue, right?
I worked
Westin.
at the Courtyard Marriott, so it was right across the street from the Brayburn.
Okay.
Bauer Convention Center's on the other side.
My
So
my
honestly,
wife and I did a getaway there when we were dating. That was like 10 years ago.
at
Yeah.
the Marriott.
Yeah, because we
Nice.
we used to live in Renton.
Yeah, I like Bellevue,
Mhm.
but I also live in Bellevue too, so it was right down the street from where I lived. But yeah, like checking in and getting measured for my height class was so nerve-wracking. I had no idea how big it would be. It was the first time I was in that convention center, so
Yeah.
I guess that was my first show because I didn't know anything.
That's a big venue. That's like 3 times the size of the
Yeah, it's huge.
Kirkland one, I think. I bet that was pretty intimidating for a first experience, huh?
It was very intimidating, but they did a great job. The whole production, everything very organized. So
Yeah. That's one of the things that I like about the bigger shows is that there just seems to be less like issues with the tanning and stuff, and just like things are run very, very quickly, very fast paced, I mean, even the poses, it's like side tricep, okay, next, okay, side chest. I'm like, it takes me 10 seconds to get into a good side chest pose. Come on, man.
yeah. Let us breathe.
Yeah, and judging, I like looking at the positive of them. They have like those, good production values, good lighting, and then you get the scorecards at the end. And the scorecards, they use like a software, whereas like in most bodybuilding shows, they just do it like pen and paper, erase, and you have to write the other one. Because I was looking for that software. We're considering, I can't announce it, but it's something we're considering just doing it like computerized, so it's a lot easier to share results.
Wow.
Yeah. By the way, I just wanted to say, either way, whether we're doing it like the computer-based system or the paper system, I just want competitors, anyone who's going to compete at the Open Natural, know that we are going to share all the scorecards, and then also we're going to have the all the judges from different organizations. And the cool thing about the smaller natural bodybuilding shows, is that you get more time on stage, and then judges, they even have time. I'm not gonna say any names, but I know one judge is like almost mean how long she has you on stage. It's a good thing because judges have more time to write comments.
It's not Katie Wayman-White, is it?
Yeah, it is.
It is. I knew it was. Yeah, no, because she is hardcore, man. No, she was my posing coach for pretty much all the shows that I did. Yeah, no, I love Katie. Love Katie. Man, she's a tough coach, though. She's a really tough coach.
And then they would have you on stage forever.
It's like a workout.
Yeah, exactly. You get sort after the show, right?
It's almost like if it's really close, it's like, okay, who can hold the pose the longest? You're at that point, Yeah, no, my lats were shot the next day after doing after it wasn't her show, because like she wouldn't have been judging her own show, but I can't remember which one it was.
And that is definitely part of being a bodybuilder. You have to like build your physique, and you have to be able to like hold the pose without shaking, and you
part of the sport.
Crack a smile and make people like give the illusion that it's easy, right? When you're good at it, probably like a dancer too. Like you make it look easy. Like if you don't know anything about it, you think, no, like anyone could do that, but no.
Yeah.
I like that aspect, like being on stage longer and having more time for judges to decide and not make any mistakes.
Yeah, I miss that part of it. It's like, after a good hockey game, you should be sore the next day. After a bodybuilding show, like it should feel like it was a sporting event, not a beauty pageant, right?
100%.
Yeah, cool. Speaking of shows and awards, so one of the awards that you're going to be giving out is a powerlifting belt. I'm going to have fun with this question, actually.
Grab it.
I'm totally the guy that is always wearing my belt for no reason. and that is definitely a thing. Oh wow, cool. Look at that thing. Oh, that is beautiful. That is,
and it there.
Got some nice stitching in it too.
Okay. Is it backwards?
Yeah, it's like embroidered, it's not just like
Nice.
in it. This little guy here,
Little guy, this guy's jacked. What are you talking about?
Little Sanders, and
Oh, cool.
they're kind of like the standard in NPC shows. Actually, not too many bodybuilding shows give those out. Yeah, we're hoping to start.
Right on. And if you're listening to the audio only, we're admiring the trophy right now, which is definitely not a natural bodybuilder that posed for that one, but it's a really cool trophy.
It's a sculpture. It's art. So yeah. So anyway, so going back to your question about the belt, like what's the question again? Why are we giving out belts?
Yeah, because like we're bodybuilders, so why should we wear powerlifting belts?
You should have a building season for
Yeah.
sure. And you should need a belt for that season.
Yeah, that is true. You
Yeah.
see like observing and like natural bodybuilding champions. I mean, they don't have to be powerlifters, but all of them do some sort of powerlifting, as Jess said, like in the off season when they're like super shredded.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing things the other way, I feel like there's more options, the occlusion training, the high reps, plyometrics, isometric tension. You can use a lot of techniques, but they're not as, when you're natural, those things are not as effective as the old school heavy lifting. So I think that's one of the reasons why most, if not all, natural bodybuilders, they tend to incorporate some sort of like strength training, powerlifting style. So we believe
it's foundation.
It's foundation.
But in natural bodybuilding, it kind of only gets you so far, right? Like you can only squat so much and deadlift so much to where it's like at that point, now you need to focus more on different foot positions, making the muscle do something different every single time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, having that foundation in place, and then you start like fine tuning like after that.
Hey everyone, Coach Taylor Milton here. Welcome to Skullbellz TV, the official YouTube channel of SupersetYourLife.com, where you're going to discover a weekly upload of quick and easy to follow workout tutorials featuring Coach Colt, myself, or one of our athletes to keep your workouts fun, practical, and effective. Our family's latest keto carnivore recipes that fuel Colt's competitions and keep myself and our kiddos strong and healthy. Video uploads of the SupersetYourLife.com podcast, now over 100 episodes, your weekly dose of entertainment, education, and inspiration to fuel your life inside and beyond the gym, and much more. Last thing before we get into the video, we're asking a big favor from you. This has been working beautifully, so if you would please think of someone you care about that would benefit from this video, go ahead and smash that like button, click the share button, and text this video to them. That would mean the world to us. And while you're at it, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss more exciting content from Skullbellz TV, because our team has lots of meat and lots of muscle coming your way, and I promise you won't want to miss it. When you hit the subscribe button, you'll see a bell icon pop up. You want to click that too so you're notified every time we release a new video. Thank you so much for the support. It means the world to us. Every like, share, and subscription helps our channel grow and supports our family's hard work. So thank you so much for doing your part too. That's all we ask. God bless you, and please enjoy this video.
But
sorry, back to the belt.
Yeah. So yeah, you see how like in boxing, they have like these belts that they hold over their head. They look kind of cool, but like, wait a minute, we're lifters. We can give like actual belts that people can use. Can bring it to a squat rack, and it's an item that it lasts for a lifetime. So you can have it. You can have the 2013 natural bodybuilding champion belt, and you can squat with that thing for the rest of your life. It gives you just like lifetime bragging rights. So
2023.
2023.
You said 2013.
I think that's when I won my first show. Anyway, 2023. Yeah.
You guys are giving out some cool swag, is what it sounds like. Yeah. That's there's even if it's something to where I'm sure it's a high quality product. But like even if it just for the sake of arguing, if it wasn't, the fact that you earned something that to me carries 10 times more weight than something that would be a better product that you went and paid for full retail for. It's like when you earn something, that's something, just like you bragging rights, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's you feel good about those lists because you're like, I earned this belt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And literally, I mean, I like it a lot, but it's not something you can buy, you know, because it's like I would be faking it. I'm not the 2023
Yeah.
National Bodybuilding Open Bodybuilding champion. So
You know, I'm like, I'm tempted to compete because that belt is super nice. It's a Cardillo. I
yeah,
think is
Cardillo.
how you
So
pronounce it.
it's
Retail
some
pretty high and
yeah, they're like super nice. You know, they're like those who are into powerlifting, they can use it for like a powerlifting meet. So it's like any sanction would take it. Also, just a little trivia. Those Cardillo belts are wore by every Mr. Olympia and Arnold Classic winner. Each of those champions, they have one of those. So
Oh, cool.
we want to bring into natural bodybuilding.
It looks like Aesthetics. I'm sure you've heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like very similar to stitching. That's the belt that I use. They're based out of Idaho, and so my wife and I for Christmas got each other matching powerlifting belts. Mine says Skullbellz on it because that's our other business. We do skull themed workout equipment, and then hers says Ezekiel 37:5b. It's a verse it's a Bible verse that she and I like to meditate on for deep breathing practices. So breathing's important in your workouts, right?
oh yeah. When I learned bracing, increased my lifts so much.
When you learned what?
Bracing
for
properly.
squats?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I also kind of do powerlifting. I've never competed powerlifting, but I love doing the powerlifting lifts and the 5-3-1 training program too. So breathing's important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of technique.
Okay, so this is a controversial question. Do you hold your breath the entire lift, or do you exhale as you're contracting your muscle fibers?
The second one.
Okay.
I guess it depends on where in the lift you're at.
Yeah,
That makes
because
sense.
like if I'm going for strength, Lane Norton, I guess I kind of go. I went through a huge Lane Norton phase of just like years of kind of going through all of his books and podcasts and all of his material, but he cited a lot of science suggesting that holding your breath it does give you more power. But I mean, do you really want to pass out in the middle of a lift?
Yeah.
You got to ask yourself, because I have before. You know?
Yeah, no, definitely play around with it though, but yeah, bracing is super important. It's kind of the difference between something coming up like cake or just being so extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy how it can make that big of a difference.
Yeah. Cool. So, Jess, you do shuffle dancing, which is also another sporting activity. So the placings in tournaments would come to a panel of judges, kind of like bodybuilding, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's actually very different, and shuffling's kind of a new type of dance, and they just started hosting tournaments and battles. So it's kind of changing like the judging criteria, but it usually always does come down to a panel of judges, usually 5 of them. And we try to get people from different areas as well, because they have different styles in different areas. And then it's done out of a scorecard from 1 to 10, and each judge is judging a category of their own. So they're not judging overall. So they're doing categories like creativity, foundation, energy, 2 other ones, technicality and musicality.
Mm-hmm.
And they do share the scorecards at the end of the tournament too. So it's a great opportunity for competitors to ask, hey, why'd you give me this score and how can I improve, in the next battle?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's similar and different in a way. So I'm curious if there's a way to implement the judging for bodybuilding for shuffling and how that would look, because we're still new and we're trying to figure out the best way to judge, and yeah, just we're trying it out. But I do like that they share the scorecards, because I've been in a couple of online battles and it's helped me improve immensely, just competing in general.
Just getting feedback.
Yeah.
When you get sorry, I don't know much about it, so I'm asking you genuine questions. When you're competing, you're going like one couple at a time, one person at a time, or you have like you're like simultaneously performing?
Yeah, so you're battling another person. I've only done online battles. They were really big during the pandemic. But now they've started hosting them in person, but it'll usually be like a genre of music. We'll choose the BPM, something slow like house and techno and trance. So it's faster and more difficult. And they'll have one person go for like at least 30 seconds and then the next person go, and then the judges will share their scorecards. Some people will just choose like that guy, depending on the battle. So,
and they get the scorecards almost like, you know, like diving, like they give you a score from 1 to 5, something like that, or is it like placings?
So they'll give you your scorecard like 1 to 5, and then
you get a score, not a placing, but a score.
It depends. So they're kind of different. So the scorecards are more for online, and then the placing is in person.
Gotcha. Yeah, we do placings for bodybuilding, right? I believe like in the old school days, or like the Arnold days, 1970s, they used to actually give you a score. You would place, okay, those biceps 7.8, but they stopped doing that a long time ago, and now it's a lot simpler.
Yeah, shuffling will have brackets, so the winner goes up against the winner, goes up against the winner until it's the 2 winners on each bracket side. It's exhausting.
Wow.
Like it.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's the most fair way that you can.
Yeah, it is fair. I prefer online though, because it's more of like you get to practice and you choose your best clip. It's not in the moment, because I feel like I would choke up and get nervous. I'm a very nervous person, so in person terrifies me. But yeah, you can see who, I don't want to say the real battlers are, but you can see who the real battlers are if they show up in person.
Right on. Well, good stuff, guys. I respect both of your time so much. And again, thank you so much for answering this laundry list of things. I mean, just like everybody wants to know this stuff when they're looking to do a show for the first time. Do you have one more question, if that's okay? This is okay, great. This is kind of the theme of our show. This is totally the theme of our show. Superset your life, right? And so in a gym, when you do, I mean, Arnold talks about this in his book. You do a set of bench press and you do a set of chin-ups. That's like his signature superset. And then you come back and you're actually better at the bench press because you've got that pump, right? And so instead of just doing one exercise, when you alternate and go back and forth, somehow it makes the results of both better. And scientists can't even really explain why. So and so taking a step back and thinking of this with a bit of a methodical, looking at this with a bit of a methodical lens, has bodybuilding in and of itself, because all three of us have competed before, has that given you a similar effect into where like maybe you're not, like now you're a better business person, or you have more discipline, or you have some more sustainable habits because of that prep that you did, as much sacrifice as it took and as hard as it was to compete in the first place?
You want to go first?
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like prepping for a show, you have to get all of your ducks in a row, and I feel like that's kind of carried over into my personal life. So habitually, I wake up early. I listen to my body when it needs something. Like if I've had too much fat, maybe I'll stop eating as much fats and eat more protein. Like if I get an afternoon slump, like, you know, I'm just much more in tune with my body. And because I'm in tune with my body, I'm more productive in my personal work life, if that makes sense. And that all stemmed from prepping and trying different things and figuring out what worked for me and just being more mindful. So I hope that answered the question.
Totally. Yeah, no, I love it. Everybody has a different perspective. And so I just love hearing what your take is on it too.
Yeah, like even tracking workouts and macronutrients and stuff like that. I'm very like meticulous at work, and I track things, trends, metrics,
multidimensional.
Like
it's not just your 1 hour workout.
Exactly.
It just becomes part of your life.
Yeah, when you get thrown out of that routine, it's like
it's the worst.
You're not the same until you're back into that routine for like a week, and you just become painfully regimented in every area.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're just never the same again.
Yeah, it's not just a cosmetic change, you know, like it changes you as a person, you know. It's like that's the whole character development, you know, how it reprograms your brain, and you learn, you know, to enjoy to delay gratifications. I think that's the key of discipline. Like there's some things that we want right now, but you always have to weigh, okay, do I want this pleasure and this good feeling like right now? Or do I want a greater pleasure, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 1 year. So we have to have, we learned that patience and that focus and prioritization. Almost like all the things that we do here at work, like project management, multitasking, discipline. Yeah, I think it's a great thing. And then we make friends, we improve our health.
Because when you get ready for a show, you have to take such a close inventory and such a hard look at every aspect of your life. Like, is it worth my time to do this? Is it like I have to get 8 hours of sleep? If I don't, then none of this works. No meal plan or workout plan is gonna work if you're running on low sleep. It's just not. And so you have to take such a close look at every single aspect of your life going into the show. And then coming out of the show, it's like, you know what? Okay, this is what's really important in life. This is what's not really important in life, because we all have to make sacrifices if we're going to do this. It's an intense sport. It really, really is, whether you're natural or non-natural. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for sharing both of those perspectives. That was really cool.
That's a great question.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, we had a great time here.
Well, I think we should. I can't wait to meet you guys in person. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Seriously, both of you. Just the amount of time that we've been talking, Jairo. I'm honored to be the MC at your guys' show too. So, looking forward to that. I guess we'll be talking more about that soon. So, yeah, let's get another recording in one of these days. I think that'd be fun.
Great. I'm game for it.
Thank you. Yeah.
You bet. And again, everybody, all the description for where to find these two amazing people is in the show notes below. Share with a friend. Share with someone that's maybe thinking about competing or is a competitor that is considering other federations. Share us with somebody. Okay. Thanks a lot. God bless.
Thank you.